Josh Giddey made a huge mistake wanting to be traded away from Oklahoma City as he is struggling in Chicago right now. He is just having some of the worst games of his career, and he's not even playing all that much. Yes, he's a starter in Chicago, but he's getting the 6th most minutes out of anyone on the floor. He's a starter, and he's not even top 5 in minutes played per game. It's absurd. I don't know why you would want to be traded away. I get it. You weren't going to be a starter anymore. That wasn't the plan. You could have fought and earned your way back into that starting role, though. If you worked in the offseason and improved at your defensive game and worked on your shot a little bit, his shot showed glimpses of being good. He just needed to be better defensively, and he could have started. But he didn't want to put in that work is what it looked like when he said, look, if you're not just going to instantly start me, trade me away. That's simple. That's what he said, and now he's regretting it as he is having a horrible season in Chicago right now. He's not even a top 5 player for the Bulls when he should be putting up close to a triple-double right now, and he's not. His shot isn't looking better. He's not looking better defensively. He hasn't improved all that much, and Chicago may let him walk in free agency if he doesn't step up his game, and he's starting to regret ever wanting to be traded away from Oklahoma City. So we're going to break down everything going on with his season so far. If, could he have done this if he stayed in Oklahoma City? Look at some of his games and try to translate that into if he was coming off the bench or starting for OKC. Going a little deep dive of all of that for you guys here on Thunder Digest today. Before we go into all of that, though, I just want to take a quick moment to recognize that we're at 2,083 subscribers currently at the time of making this video. We're trying to hit 2,500 by the new year. I know we can hit that goal. I know we can. So if you guys find yourself coming back on a regular basis, or if you're new to the channel and you like what we're putting out here and you want to support, best way to do so is by hitting that subscribe button. It means the world to me over here at Thunder Digest. Now, with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get in talking about Giddey a little bit, as he's been a storyline that OKC has been following this entire really season. All right, I see a bunch of articles that talk about him when he has good games, when he has bad games, overall. Recent one I found was over at Thunder's Intentions by my coworker Mark Nylon, talking about Giddey, how he is starting to regret being traded away from Oklahoma City because he'd be on a winning team right now, and he might be doing better overall if he stayed with us and came off the bench. He might be starting to realize, maybe, they had the right plan for me. I could have put in that work and then go back in that starting role and be a key part of this team going forward. It just looks like he's starting to regret it when you look at all the stats he's putting up. And let's go ahead and go into this article, by the way. Let's go ahead and get right into it, all right? Chicago knew he wanted to start and had turned down significant offers for Caruso. This move appeared to make Giddey a key piece of the Bulls' core, but the two sides failed to reach an extension this offseason. The 22-year-old will be a restricted free agent in the summer of 2025. Chicago can match any offer, but they were clearly unwilling to pay him like a key piece of their future. Giddey started each of their first 18 games, but is 6th on the Bulls in minutes per game at 27.3. Chicago has a crowded backcourt with Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu playing more than Giddey in the early going. He is a starter, but is in a similar role as Oklahoma City. Giddey is not always part of the closing lineup, is not in the franchise's top 5 in minutes per game, which just goes to show he's really not having a good time there overall right now. Like, he's just not. All right, he could be doing better. It could be a better overall for him. He's just, he's not top 5 in minutes. He's not part of the closing lineup. It's the exact same thing that was going on in Oklahoma City. That's why he's starting to regret and be like, look, if they're going to play me the same way that OKC did, why didn't I just stay with them? I'm sure OKC could have figured out a deal to get Alex Caruso as well. If we really wanted him, we could have traded away some picks. That would have been fine to get Caruso in return. I feel like fans would be, like all you guys would be fine if we did that. But looks as though he is starting to regret it a little bit. And Josh Giddey, he might be trying to come back. All right. This is getting a little bit early into it, but, over the summer, no one else wants to give him the money that he thinks he deserves. All right. Everyone thinks he's like $10, $15 million per year player. OKC might try to scoop him up, be like, look, we'll give you 1 year and see if you can perform for us. All right. We'll do that. I think there's a way that we can do that and also keep Caruso as well. It'd be interesting to see. I'm not entirely sure, but if there is a way, I think Sam Presti, if he wants to, and there's a way, he's going to figure it out. Okay. And it's not like Giddey's a bad player. He's had some decent games. He's also had some really bad games. All right. He just needs to figure it out, a little bit defensively and get his shot to be more consistent. And he could be a good player for a bunch of teams. I still think he has all-star potential, but he needs to put it all together, all right? You can't be this much of a defensive liability and be great. If you are, you're going to be an offensive superstar. That's what Luka does, and look at him. He's always in MVP talks, even though his defense is probably in the bottom half of the league. Now going in the second part of this article here, the Thunder are first in the Western Conference and survived a stretch without their top two centers. Chet Holmgren will not return until 2025. But Isaiah Hartenstein is back and making a massive impact. OKC is projected to have the best record in the West and is the favorite to reach the NBA Finals. Josh Giddey could be helping them, but is starting on a 7-11 team fighting for a place in the play-in tournament. The Bulls are not serious contenders, but will likely push for the postseason. It may mean fewer minutes for Giddey, as they prefer Levine and White on offense. Giddey has the size to stay on the floor, but does not fit in an off-ball role. Ayo Dosunmu is a superior defender and often finds ways into closing lineups. And it's like just going and saying that right there, all right? They're pretty much saying, look, we think you're a good player. It's just for some reason, you're not putting it all together for us. If you just were better defensively or better offensively, shooting-wise, you'd be part of this closing lineup. But he isn't. There are just clearly better options. He is a great playmaker. We know this, all right? He's a great passer and a good rebounder, all right? But you can't be successful in the modern day NBA if you don't, I don't even want to say excel. If you can't play at a league average defensively or shooting wise, and he isn't. He's below league average in both those regards. That's why he's not part of the closing lineup. That's why OKC didn't want to keep him because of the lack of shooting and, the defensive liability. You would notice even on offense when I go to lack of shooting, they would put their center on him and just have them roam the paint. That's what they would do. They would let Giddey shoot threes, and he would miss every single one. Defensively, all right, we would put them on their worst player, and even then, he would get cooked sometimes. He just needs to be better, all right? He needs to improve a little bit, and he can truly be a great player. And this is what I goes into. If he does show these flashes here a little bit during the rest of the season, but no team wants to offer him a contract or anything, that's where I could see OKC swooping up and going like, look, we'll go ahead and give you one more year to try to prove yourself, blah, blah, 1 year, $10-15 million deal. Let's see what you can do. I doubt that happens. I truly do. But if Giddey really regrets going away from OKC this much, he might try to find a way to come back. He might. And it's not like he's a horrible player by any means. I mean, let's look at these stats real quick, all right? He's had some outlier games like this one against the Hawks where he went 8 of 10 from the field, all right? Made a three-pointer, 18 points, 8 assists, and 6 boards, along with 2 blocks. Outlier game. He had a great game that, night. What's another one? Utah in the loss. I mean, he didn't shoot from 3 all that great, but 5 of 11 from the field. He had 7 assists and 15 points, along with a steal. Not bad at all. Like, he puts up decent stats every now and then. He has some good games every now and then. Loss against Cleveland. He went 2 of 4 from 3. Great shooting game from him overall. 63% from the field as well. 7 assists, 8 boards, along with a steal and a block. That's a great game. And he finished with, 18 points, I think is what it says there. Like, he's had some great games, but you see a lot of these where he doesn't do anything offensively. And that's the problem. 5 of 17 from the field in a loss against Brooklyn. Not great whatsoever. Loss against Minnesota, 3 of 12. Oh, not good either. Loss against Houston, 3 of 10. It's just these kinds of games. He has these way too much, which makes him a liability and teams not wanting him. Look at his overall stats for the month of November. 10 points a game, along with, what's that? 7 assists and 6 boards. No, 5 boards. Not even a block or steal a game, while averaging 2.4 turnovers. I mean, like, we got to be better. Shooting-wise, 3-point. Horrible. Not great at all. 28%. From the field, 40%. That's solid. Take that. But he's got to be a better 3-point shooter, especially as a guard. That's one of his big problems. That's why OKC didn't want to keep him. And he's starting to regret ever wanting to be traded away from OKC after he learned he was going to have to come off the bench. He's starting to really, really regret that. All right. He's starting to be like, look, maybe I should have just came off the bench. I'm in the same role in Chicago. And if I stayed in OKC, instead of being on a playing team, I'll be on a team that could potentially win a ring this year. He's starting to really regret this decision and want to be traded away. That's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Should we have tried to find a way to keep Giddey and also get Caruso in return? Or were you guys like, look, Josh is gone. We're done. He's, a failed project of ours. All right. We need to move on from him and let's never bring him back. What do you guys think? I'm interested in what you guys think about, potential Giddey return and if he's really regretting this decision. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next video.